Os. Hey guys, I just want to talk briefly today about the importance of kihon, and in particular kicking kihon in relation to our kumite. So a lot of practitioners, when they're starting out in knockdown style karate, or if they're sort of progressing into the intermediate ranks, and starting to get more serious into their kumite and preparing for tournaments, there's that temptation and that trend to tend to focus less on kihon. And it's completely understandable. The fighting is the fun part. But one thing I've noticed, sparring with other martial artists, sparring with other fighters, in particular kickboxers and people that have gone straight into MMA, is that coming from more of a traditional karate background, it gives you a massive advantage in terms of balance and in terms of an awareness around where the foot ends up after you actually kick. When we're sparring, it's much easier to counter, to pick someone off, if that person doesn't have a good awareness about where the foot ends up after they perform the kick. Right? So if you're moving around, if you're throwing a kick, if you have a good understanding of where the foot is going to go after you perform the kick, then you're going to be ready for whatever counter comes back at you, and you're going to be able to perform a second counter to that counter, or you're going to be able to follow up on your combinations a lot more easily.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't already, please check out my book, The Science of Striking, a complete guide to strength and conditioning for combat sports.
So if we're starting in a training environment where we're focusing on, perhaps we're learning a few techniques and then we're going straight to performing those techniques against a bag or perhaps hitting the mitts, we're focusing on where the technique ends up. We're focusing on which part of the body, the area in the midst that we're attacking, and working on how we're using our body to produce adequate speed and power to deliver that technique. But there becomes less of a focus about where the foot comes down. If we're practicing our kihon, doing hundreds and hundreds of kicks over and over again, what we're doing is developing that coordination with where we're kicking and where the foot ends up. And this should be a real focus of our kihon. So when you're performing the kihon, we want the foot to start and finish in exactly the same spot. And by doing so, when we then transition into our kumite, when we're moving around, when we're throwing techniques from odd angles, we know that we have an awareness of where the foot is going to end up after we perform that technique. So we're then ready for whatever's coming next. So if you are in the early stage of your development as a knockdown style karate practitioner, do pay close attention to your kihon, in particular where the foot ends up after the kick. And even if you are sort of an intermediate practitioner or going into the higher levels and you find that you are getting countered more easily after you perform your kicks, maybe spend a training block going back and regressing slightly and really focusing on your kihon with a particular focus on foot placement, and see if that changes the rate at which you're being counted and picked off. So I hope that's of interest to people. Let us know what you think in the comments, and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching.